Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be taking a look at the collective energy for the week of March 7th through the 13th. So, in the meditation, I saw the image of a crocodile on an embankment. And it felt very sunny. The crocodile felt relaxed, at ease, not in a hurry to get anywhere. Crocodile medicine is largely about timing, right? But it's also about how you go about doing what you do. It's like we're timing and the method are holding hands a bit. And across the river, I saw an image of the magician from the tarot, sort of sitting down at this riverbank, and this magician's message felt like, I determine the how and I determine the when. When, not when. W-H-E-N. It feels like there is a energy around this week where we may be invited or have a series of opportunities to go about doing things either in a different time or in a different way. It feels like what was or an old method or way of doing things or a certain like sort of front on, straight on approach may not be as effective. This week is possibly choosing to, let me try doing that at a different time than usual. Let me try going around the side door. Let me try taking my time where normally I'm rushing, right? This can manifest in a lot of different ways. This can be in terms of like your routine for day to day. This can be how you approach, a project or a task, but I'm really hearing the word back to routine. Crocodile is largely about our mental health and about what serves it and how our mental health really does affect everything that we do. Now, sometimes our mental health, in terms of, when I say mental health, by the way, what I mean is how grounded we are in a sense of, I am in complete, I want to say control, but I have complete facility around my choices, right? There's nothing from my subconscious. There's nothing, energetically affecting me that I am not aware of that is, causing me to make choices from fear, right? So when we have a sense of mental wellness or mental balance, right? It's about being mindful and making choices from a place of deliberate presence as opposed to, I'm reacting. I'm being affected by other things. It's got to do this, or my egoic self is running the show. This feels like we're being invited to really go about things from a place of, let me slow down to speed up. Let me pause to reach my desired goal. I'm seeing a really funny, it's a fable. And it's a classic. You probably know it, The Tortoise and the Hare. And they, enter into a race together, and the hare is just so sure that it's going to win, but the tortoise ends up winning. And sort of the message around that fable is that, slow and steady wins the race. But I really feel like, in terms of that tortoise energy, it's not dissimilar to a crocodile energy. It's understanding that when we allow ourselves to follow the feeling around the timing of things and our choices, really follow the feeling, we are always on time. And things tend to work out better than we could have expected or hoped for, right? It's when we allow ourselves to be really overly affected by obligation or have to or should, or that adult aspect of us is kind of task, mastering us. It's about this week. How can we take what we know we need to do, right? And marry that with a sense of deliberate choice, timing, and pleasure. Right? It really feels like, let's be open to going about something differently. So let's go ahead and get the tarot for the week. It's a really interesting energy, crocodile. It really, really is. It really is a gift, because it also, this is 5 of Wands. Right. Okay. So this is the overall energy. I bet the advice is going to be, a more still energy, but the 5 of Wands, traditionally speaking, this is about struggle, effort, competition, have to, should. This is what I was talking about, right? So it's interesting here with this energy as well, because fire, the wand suit, is all about the actions that we do or don't take, largely around the work that we love to do or are passionate about, or passion projects or soul purpose related. What's interesting is I feel like in 2022, we've gotten a lot of wands, a lot of fire energy. There really is a significant focus on within the collective around what we're here to do, what we're passionate about, when to make a move on something, and really considering the way in which we go about manifesting, which is fabulous. With this Five of Wands here too, I always say with this, when it's a minor arcana like this, we can choose how we interact with this energy. We are not, just like trapped into some, Five of Wands scenario where we're leaping over fiery flames and trying not to get burned. We have the choice and the option to interact with this from a different place. And I'm getting deja vu. I really feel like we had this recently and it's coming up here again. And I feel like we have an invitation. I know we did. It was several weeks ago, but we have Five of Wands and it was a very similar energy about we are invited and have the opportunity to interact with this sort of competitive or tense or taskmaster energy a little bit differently than maybe we have in the past, or even to respond to those around us who are in this energy, right? A little bit differently, see it for what it is, and understand that this week, maybe the tagline is, it's not personal. Feels a bit like the tagline this week. It's not personal. Let's go ahead and get the advice. It's really fascinating though with all the wands that have been coming up, and then the crocodile, which is all about timing, and the one just fell on the floor. Hold on. Oh my. Ten of Wands is the advice. So what's really interesting here is that we have the Magician from this deck depicted in this key. So remember in the meditation, I saw the Magician sitting by the riverbank, and I go about things when and how I want to. I have the power, all of that good stuff. And then we have the Magician here, and we have this, looks like a child. Yeah, it looks like a student or a pupil kind of kneeling down before the Magician, carrying all this weight of the Ten of Wands. Now, traditionally speaking, the Ten of Wands is about a heavy load, a burden, a maximum capacity, having a little bit more or a lot bit more on our plate than we feel like we can handle, right? And this, again, can be for ourselves, those in our, surroundings, whatever have you. This can be also like a mindset, right? Because perspective really can affect our mental health in such a large way as well. It's how we see things. It's not about what happens or doesn't happen. It's about how we respond to it and how we see it, right? It's one of those hard truths that is eternal, right? But when this comes up as advice with the Ten of Wands, this is such a beautiful depiction of what we're talking about with being invited to do things differently. This person with this 10 wands here is going, I really like, what do I do with all these wands? I can't care. I want all this stuff to happen. I know I need to do all of these things. Yada, 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 yada. What do? I want to set down the load, but I want to know which ones to set down and which ones to keep going. It's a lot of that energy. And then we have the Magician here going like, what is the Magician doing? I was going to say, it's like the Magician's smoking on like a pipe going like, just chill. But it feels like what she's doing here, because in this particular deck, the Magician is a female, the ringmaster, right? And I feel like what this smoke is, there's an aspect there of illusion and how things appear and how they really are. And I feel like the advice this week, sort of, into a tagline, is to see things for what they are, as opposed to the worst case scenario or succumbing to some sense of, I have to work hard in order to work smart. Things need to be difficult in order for, things to be worthwhile. Be open your mind, open the way that we go about things, and be open to doing things a different way, a simpler way, a smarter way, an easier way, a backdoor, side door way. It's about being open to doing things differently. Again, I have to say, it really feels like what we've done before is not necessarily going to yield the same results. And at the very least, it's not going to result in feeling very good mentally. And I feel like this is what this is. The Magician is coming in to say, there's a shift that's going on within the collective that says, can you go about manifesting a different way? Can you go about manifesting and working from the mindset that you have all of the time that you need and everything is in divine timing when you follow your feelings? If you do not feel like working on something at a particular moment, but you decide to do it anyway, and you're working with like a push energy or an obligation energy, the result is not going to be, especially if it's creative, right, with the wands, it's not going to be anywhere close to what it could be if you just followed your feelings, stepped away, did something else, and then returned to it when you felt naturally feeling intuitively inclined to. This, y'all, this is such a hard lesson. Like, I know this, take it from me. I feel this. We put these, these ideas onto ourselves. We burden ourselves with this, like, I got to get this done by this date. It has to be done this way. I need to do this. It has to be this way. But there's something about the current energy that's happening this week that's going, or you could take a long lunch and go back and get a lot more done because you took like a bit of a longer lunch to like refresh yourself, right? Nature is coming in a big way too. I really feel like spending time in nature to recharge. Again, with the mental health, I keep going back to this. It really feels like there is such an emphasis on keeping the mind clear and the perspective clean. Interesting. Wants to come out clear and clean. Keeping the perspective clean and being open to following the feelings and really promoting your own feel goods and knowing that everything is going to happen in its highest and best good when you allow yourself to be moved by divine inspiration and by your feelings. The key is not using the head to like direct you this week or the ego. It's really about keeping the mind clear, promoting your own sense of spiritual, mental, intuitive well-being, being open to set down some of these wands here with this 10 of wands and know that you can go about doing things differently and that it's only an illusion. It's only an illusion. These have do's, should do's, must do's, these whatever constructs that you have going on around you or within your own mind. It's an illusion. And behind this curtain here is the wizard, which looks very different than we think it does in our mind. And really, life is a lot more simple than we make it. That's another part of crocodile medicine, is that we are really adept at complicating things. And really, at the end of the day, life can be a lot more simple, right? Nurture yourself, do what you love, and follow your feelings. At least for this week. With that being said, I'm sending you so many blessings for a beautiful week ahead. Thank you guys so much for being here. And as always, and most of all, thank you for being you. And be well. Until next time.